Want to 10x your growth? Discover how only 3 growth hacks in 10 days can change everything. Welcome to the 10-Day Growth Hacking Challenge with your host, Nader Sabri. Today we're here with Simran, who's shaking things up in the area for women empowerment. She has a very unique philosophy on this, which I think is her superpower, which is it's not about the empowerment, but rather navigating that empowerment. And she has all the tools and the platforms to do that. Today, we're on hack number 2. If you want to know more about Simran and what she does, you can click below. If you want to know more about her story, I highly suggest you go over to the kickoff video where you can get to know a little bit more. Before we get started, for those tuning in that want to do what we do here, we use the growth thinking methodology. If you want to get growing real quick, this is what you use. Welcome aboard, Simran. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Nader.
Awesome. Great. So we have some excitement. I saw the campaign. I saw it go out. I know it's still a little bit early, but we're always looking for the early signals to give us some kind of indicator about what's about to happen. But why don't we start by, if you can just tell us in detail what hack number 2 actually is, and then we'll talk about some of the signals and the results you've seen so far.
Right. So the hack number 2 is primarily to generate brand awareness for us. Yeah. I mean, the secondary objective, the main objective of the campaign that we've launched is to create awareness around sponsorship. Yeah. So this is a topic. So we picked up sponsorship because there are statistics like men.
By the way, can you explain what sponsorship is, just so people know what you mean by sponsorship?
Yes, absolutely. So there was recently an article written by a professor at Carnegie Mellon where she said women are over-mentored and under-sponsored. And that holds true also for people of color. Yeah. So what happens, the mentoring is a little bit top-down approach. You are telling people what to do, guiding them. But what actually works really well is when you advocate for people. You know, when somebody speaks about you or on your behalf when you're not in the room. Right. So that advocacy is what sponsorship is about, which is key to, breaking the ceiling, getting the coveted jobs, getting the real jobs with people responsibilities, which help you, get up the ladder. And data shows that men are 46% more likely to have sponsors as compared to women.
Wow. Okay.
That's something that we picked up. We said, okay, we want to, and there is, lacking awareness around the topic. People often confuse very much with mentorship. They start only looking for mentors.
Yep.
But there are certain doors that can be opened only by sponsorship. Yeah.
So can you give some examples of sponsorship? Because this is a very interesting concept. I mean, can you give us some practical examples of this?
Right. So, for example, when somebody wrote in a recommendation letter for you when you were trying to apply for a job or say for a B school application, somebody advocated for you in a room when people were looking to fill in, a very important role and you were not even in the room. Right. So these are advocates that you build who are there for you when you are not there. So these are sponsors. A very nice example. So we are now looking for examples across, whether it's in sports, in cinema, in corporate space. I read up about this example of a Khan Academy. When the founder was trying to build it, he wasn't getting much traction. And Bill Gates spoke about how he believed in what he was building with Khan Academy. And boom, that's it, he just spoke about it, that he believed in what he was doing, and he turned a sponsor, after which there was no looking back.
So the sponsorship, is that a technical term in your area? Like that is what everyone in your industry refers to it as, or are there other terms for this mechanism other than sponsorship? Are there other terms for this?
No, I think why we chose it because we again say there's nothing wrong with us. It's not about fixing us, right? And then mentoring is a lot about guiding, telling mode, right? Where you're telling somebody what they should do.
Yeah.
But that's, that is great to learn, but that's not going to take you to the next step. So that's why we say you need to go for the sponsorship approach for certain.
Yeah, because as you always surprise me with your amazing philosophies. I think they're super core to what you're doing. I love it every time. You just keep giving me more richness with what you're doing here. The sponsorship is actually a lot more powerful when you explained it than the key word that you'd given me when you said sponsorship. And if there was like a word I was alternatively to Slack would be endorsement, because endorsement it would be so much closer to the benefit of what you're actually doing, because sponsorship has so many interpretations to it. I mean, I can go to an Alcohol Anonymous. Of course, I don't drink, but and I say I got my sponsor who's there when I'm in trouble and all that stuff. And so there could be like a connotation of association. I'm not really sure, but I believe that if there was a more powerful word that you can use, because the philosophy behind what you're doing is so much bigger than just sponsor. I don't know if that's something to consider, but again, the philosophy behind what you're doing is so powerful. I think sometimes with a bit of a tweak here or there can potentially change some of the results.
Yeah, I think advocate is another good term, right? Where somebody advocates on your behalf.
Yes.
And again, we thought about it. We were going one step ahead, then we took a step back in the campaign because we realized we have to start from the foundation because there's a lacking awareness.
Yes.
Many people haven't thought about it, haven't proactively thought about it. I myself in my career had many sponsors, but I didn't proactively often reach. Luckily, I just had some people and I didn't realize what they were doing. They were opening doors, they were being my sponsors.
Yeah.
And now that when I think of it, so I think people, especially women and people of color, need to think proactively, plan proactively, where could I find these people? And this could be, especially when you're large MNCs, so many hierarchies, such a big organization, these are the people who are going to open doors, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to be stuck. And it's the same in entrepreneurship. When you raise funding, you're trying to do all sorts of things.
Of course.
It matters a lot.
Yep. It's funny you mention that, because I remember, I mean, throughout all the money I've raised for many years, actually the best source of fundraising is through other entrepreneurs, actually not investors. What I mean by that is if there's an investor who's if there's an entrepreneur invested, if an entrepreneur is funded by a specific investor, if that entrepreneur would recommend another entrepreneur to that fund, you're more likely to get funding than if you were to go direct, or recommended by another investor, or recommended through an intermediary like a lawyer or a consultant. So entrepreneur to entrepreneur recommendations when it comes to fundraising have been some of the most powerful and underestimated channels when it came to my fundraising efforts. And it goes a long way, because if a fund likes a young entrepreneur, they want to copy them. They like, hey, we want another guy like this, or another guy similar to this, And so anyways, I mean, long story short, I think the concept of sponsorship is so powerful in what you're doing that it may deserve a better word or more time or a better way to explain it, because when I kind of saw it, it sounded like mentorship. And the minute you said it's not mentorship, I was like, okay, what is it exactly? And so when you explained it and articulated it obviously very well, it sounds like it's so much more than that. And that's super powerful. It needs to communicate much clearer. I think in your communications hierarchy, you need to move it up with that navigation concept you're talking about.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah. No, there's some work to be done.
Awesome. So that aside, I'm all right. Cool. So we diverted a little here. Growth hack number 2. Go for it.
Yeah. So we decided to talk about sponsorship, right? For example, again, mentor is someone who has the knowledge and will share it for you. Sponsor is a person who has the power and will use it for you. And what we said, we found out that there are too few women who are reaching to the top because of lack of sponsors, right? So we said, okay, this is something that we are going to work around. And we launched a campaign, and the campaign is Open That Door, where we've started with influencers on LinkedIn and Instagram, and we've reached out to them. These are corporate leaders, these are startup founders, these are partners in VC firms, and we've said professors in academia, deans. And we've said, come on, you've had an awesome journey. And in your own journey, you must have had some sponsor who helped you open that door. So we've asked them to share a picture of theirs, when they were either with a sponsor or when back in the days starting out, share a story when the sponsor opened that door for you, and nominate others to do the same, because we want to create not only awareness. Step 1 is, of course, awareness around sponsorship and how crucial it is, right, to accelerate your careers, but also keeping in mind the viral loop, right, which you mentioned.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that. I mean, that's what I like about this hack. At least it's a single loop, but never to be underestimated. A single loop is better than no loop. That's how things start out. And later you can implement double and triple loops. Triple is usually very difficult, but going to a second loop sometimes is not that as difficult as you think. But let's get, as you said, let's get the signals in there first. So keep going. I like that you've done that. And I'm glad you picked up on that.
Yeah, so we started with the research piece that we shared, then we did a poll. And today we've launched the campaign with a landing page, and we've shared with the influencers, and we're seeing, signals, slow traction. And we've seen a few posts being reshared, people sharing pictures of their sponsors. And I think it's just going to get clarity. We're planning to record some video stories. And also, like Nader, would you suggest is to go on the ground and start asking people?
Yeah, right? I think some of those, have you gone a bit deeper into that suggestion at all? Have you taken a look at how to execute that? We'll explain it in a second, of course. Yeah.
Right. So we are going on ground in India today. So as we speak, one of our team members is doing that.
Perfect.
And she's going to be interviewing both men and women, asking them questions around this and if they've had a sponsor in the past or not, explaining what it means.
So will you have some of those videos by tonight, your time?
Yes, we should.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Because it'll be wonderful when we do our next part, that if we can see some of those videos or point people towards them so they can see it in action. And I think this is going to really, so let's step a bit back for those tuning in. So what's happening here is we're trying to create consistency in this campaign. We know that by posting one time is never enough. People forget, and that's why advertising, as obviously that's not what we're doing here, but that's why advertising is powerful, because when you have the ability to buy the medium and just keep going, just like a McDonald's or a Pepsi, their whole objective is to ensure that their brand is in front of you all the time, because once you're top of mind, you're more likely to choose their brand over another one. That's advertising 101. When it comes to on the organic side, which is what we're trying to do here, frequency plays such an important role, and you need to be content rich. So, with advertising, you can kind of copy paste and just keep going. And that's why you pay a lot of money. When it comes to content creation, you got to be equally creative all the time. And good content it connects to each other. So the first piece will lead you to the second piece, and the second piece will tell you about the first piece and push you to the third piece. And so this connectivity between all these different posts and creating this campaign, the frequency is going to really pick up. It's going to get into people's minds. You're using the hashtag OpenThatDoor. And when I saw that, I clicked on it and I saw many things under that kind of content, of course, on the hashtag itself. And I think it's worthwhile also testing OpenThatDoor. And as I mentioned, there's a very simple way of testing it. Just put a comment, put the hashtag in there, and see if that hashtag brings any traffic. Ultimately, there's a few type of hashtags. There's hashtags that are popular, but you need the volume to go up there. And there's hashtags that you can own because the traffic isn't there, but you can actually make it popular with time. So ultimately, some people, they'll just go down one route, A or B, and some other people use a hybrid where they'll use a few different, hashtags, some popular ones to trend on and some that they create in themselves to remind people about it. So you'll need to kind of test and figure that out. I know you already started down one route, stick to it for consistency purposes, but try to see if OpenThatDoor works at all. You never know. You're doing multi-platform. So you've done LinkedIn, you've done Instagram as well, correct?
Right.
Have you done anything else?
No. So we mainly focus on LinkedIn, but we've added Instagram as well, because many of the people in the corporate world are mostly just active on LinkedIn.
Yep. But don't ignore other platforms, because although they may be professionals on LinkedIn, they may be consuming on a leisure basis inside another platform, and they may be more attuned to your messaging there. We never know. Ultimately, we don't know the answer, but until you test, we don't know. I know you're pro LinkedIn and stick to it for now, but start pushing into other places. When your videos are ready, TikTok. Push TikTok is huge. And there are multiple ways growth hacking TikTok. And of course, once you got the video, you can put it into multiple channels easily.
Right.
Sorry,
and
keep going.
So coming days, what we are going to do, like I just shared the story of Bill Gates talking about Khan Academy. So there are several such stories. We are researching on these stories. For example, I know that Indra Nooyi sponsored another female CEO. Then I just wanted to read up. I don't know, Angela Merkel used to have a sponsor. So we are reading up on such stories and creating content around that as well. So people are just more aware that, okay, this, people made it because they had somebody or the others, having their back, right?
Yeah.
During these times, all across fields, and tagging them and sharing these stories.
Yep. Again, I love the concepts of sponsors. I think as you make the definition more rich and understood, I think more people are going to buy into it, because people always kind of confuse it. So did I with mentorship. And mentorship is a funny area because it can mean many things to different people. But ultimately, you're right. There is a difference between delivering knowledge and then delivering knowledge, opening doors, and then delivering knowledge, open doors, and endorsing somebody are three completely different things. and being able to identify that structure. I mean, I've just learned something new, and I think that is really crucial. It's very powerful in your messaging. Use it wisely, and telling these stories of how it's happened to other people is one of the greatest ways of doing it, both on the ground, which you're doing, but also people who are really famous. Things like Oprah. Oprah's opened the door for Dr. Phil, right? She's opened the door for quite a few people, by the way, by literally sponsoring them in the concept that you put. So it's Oprah with Dr. Phil, and she's done a couple other people. I think one of the people from The Doctors, the show, I think she has, I think, I mean, I could be wrong, but take a little bit deeper into it and you'll find that your concept is very relevant in that particular scenario. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We basically pretty much agree with the thing that women are and people of color are over-mentored, just always being told.
Yeah.
Too few occasions where somebody's opening the door for them. And that's what you need just to change the balance. So we say it's to change the face of leadership.
Yeah.
And that's what we are promoting.
Yeah, I like that. Go deeper into it. Opening the door, I think, and opening her door is going to go much further. So guys, I mean, LinkedIn campaign to promote people, to tell the story of someone who's opened the door for them, which is in this case called sponsorship. And by tagging them and bringing other people into the conversation to make it more viral. You've just started today. I've seen comments, I've seen likes, I've seen people sharing stories. So the signals, I think, are all there. Tell me a bit more about the signals. What have you seen?
Yeah, the same. I'm just waiting now for a few influencers to start posting pictures.
Fair enough. I
don't know, maybe we might need a second nudge.
Yeah.
So I'm also going to make a video explaining it and posting it, and also posting my own kind of gratitude post towards my own sponsors.
Perfect.
So that we launch the challenge today. So tomorrow we're going to do that. And I think it'll need a little bit of nudging because it is an ask, right? To share the photo, tag and post. So I think people do it because ultimately the cause is a good cause.
Yeah.
So if you believe in it, you'll do it. And I'm confident.
Good. No, I mean, I'm confident to do well as well. I think you go back to the same point of consistency and frequency. And I like the part about educating people what this campaign means. So having like a few really powerful educational videos, like what we're doing here. I mean, you've just educated me about it, and that's powerful. I think if people hear that, the time when somebody walked you through that really difficult door you can get through, and they endorsed you. They said, this is a good person to work with, or however they've done it. I think this is really important. I think you're onto something there, but I think educating people upfront would be a really good campaign. You need a content calendar, I believe. You need to, even if it's very simple, so that you keep this campaign consistent, because consistency and frequency are very important. You got to keep it going. It's not going to be a one-off at all. It's going to be core to everything you do. And I think your third growth hack is going to for sure link into this. You'll be able to build on them. Does your first growth hack play into your second growth hack in any way?
No.
It doesn't, right?
No.
Yeah.
But the third one, the second one can play into the third one. Yes.
Yeah. So I like it when this happens, because sequential growth hacks actually tend to compound better, because you have this double whammy thing happening, even triple whammy. So we have people that do like three consecutive connections between the hacks, and then they get this really good result. But not to worry. I mean, you'll be doing many more growth hacks after the challenge. So at least you have these two that bring it together, and then you can keep building on it, which is going to be awesome. There you go. Anything else you want to share with us?
No, thank you, Nadir. I just want to say thanks because we didn't think in these terms. Of course, we always keep doing stuff which is around changing mindset, making impact, but thinking of it, thanks to the toolkits that you gave, we actually thought in a different way, and it's helped us launch. It's also a bit, tagging all these celebrities. It's also a bit audacious in some ways.
Yeah.
But that's the aim. We really want it to come from the top as well, right? So because it's only when people at the top share these stories will it influence and change mindset. So that's what we are hoping.
Completely agree. I think that will play a really big role in with the influencers. So keep pushing them. I mean, they're busy people, and I'm sure they'll do it. You just more frequency, and in general, more frequency, more consistency is just going to get you more results, and it's just that simple. Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome, guys. So So guys, that's Simran hack number 2. Okay, putting a viral loop into this and getting positive signals, right? Those are the things that we're looking for. She's tapping into some deep emotions using a hashtag, which is awesome. It gets people connected, bringing in influencers to drive the message. She just started out, but she's getting positive signals, and she's going to make it more consistent to get the compounding effect. So if you want to know a bit more about what Simran does, you can click below to go to her site. And on top of that, if you want to know more about the story, which I highly suggest you look at because the philosophies behind what she's doing is super powerful, head over to the kickoff video, get a lot more information from there. As we tune out, those who want to do what we do here, of course, this is based on the growth thinking methodology. You can do what we do here by using that tool. Simran, awesome. Congratulations for finishing hack 2. Look forward to see you for hack 3.
It's been amazing. Thank you so much.